The moment Rashida Frost stepped into the spotlight, her hand gently resting on her growing belly, the room seemed to freeze. The glint in her eye told a story of joy, hope, and renewal. A story that had not been easy, but one that she had fought for. There was no denying the excitement in her voice as she confirmed the news to the world. She was pregnant again with Kirk Frost's child. It wasn't just a simple announcement. For Rasheeda, this was a victory. It was a testament to her resilience, to her belief in love, and to the bond she shared with Kirk, despite the turbulence of their past. The couple had faced countless challenges throughout their marriage, betrayals, misunderstandings, and the weight of their complex history. But after all the trials, it seemed they were ready to build something beautiful together once more. "I'm happy to say that Kirk and I are expecting again." Rasheeda smiled, her eyes glistening with emotion as she spoke to the media, surrounded by flashing cameras.
But you haven't signed anything and he hasn't signed anything yet.
No.
Is that because are you guys still trying to work it out, or does it just make more sense for you guys to just be separated right now?
Well, the thing is, we've sat and had a conversation about trying to maybe not do it through attorneys and see if we can come to some type of agreement, that way. And at the same time, I also feel like, and it's not even the point of just trying to work it out, but I'm also like, I'm at a place where I'm like, okay, I pretty much kind of got the information, and am I ready to serve him with these papers? This is the first time something like this has happened in our marriage, and I'm feeling like, okay, is the answer immediately, although it's all this crazy stuff that's happened, is the answer immediately divorce, step into this place, or is it let's try to figure out if we're gonna just separate and try to work out percentages, things like to that nature. So that's kind of where it is right now. Just maybe considering not having to do an actual divorce, but just at this moment, but just figuring out what we want to do and see if we want to go ahead and take it to the divorce line later, or that may not be the case. As of right now, who's to say? My main concern ain't even just the fact of filing a divorce. It's just about trying to, stay focused, not overstress myself, and get ready for this baby, whether he's a part of the situation or not.
Good.
It's been a tough journey, but we're moving forward. Our love is stronger than ever, and this baby is a blessing. Kirk stood beside her, his proud expression matching hers. For all the mistakes he had made in the past, mistakes that had once pushed Rasheeda to the edge, this was the moment that made it all feel worthwhile. This was redemption. This child represented hope for their future, a new chapter in their complicated relationship. It was a sign that they were working through their issues, that they were committed to rebuilding and strengthening their family. As the announcement spread, social media erupted with reactions. Fans, friends, and critics alike weighed in. Some congratulated the couple, applauding them for overcoming their struggles, while others couldn't help but question the timing and the nature of their relationship. But for Rasheeda and Kirk, the opinions of others didn't matter. They had weathered the storm together, and they were focused on what lay ahead. However, while Rasheeda and Kirk celebrated their news, not everyone was thrilled about the announcement. Far from it. In fact, Jasmine, the woman who had been at the heart of so much of the drama in Kirk and Rasheeda's marriage, was completely devastated. Jasmine had always been a complicated presence in Kirk and Rasheeda's world. She had come into the picture years ago, and with her, she had brought a storm of emotions and conflict. The paternity of her child had been a source of tension between Kirk and Rasheeda, and although the couple had eventually patched things up, the unresolved feelings and scars of the past remained. Jasmine had once believed that Kirk would choose her. She had convinced herself that the bond they shared was something more than just a brief affair. But that dream had slowly crumbled over time. Her relationship with Kirk had never been the fairy tale she had hoped for, and the reality of it had been far more painful than she ever expected. Now, seeing Rasheeda's announcement, Jasmine felt every emotion she had tried to suppress bubbling to the surface. The past, the betrayal, the lost hope. All of it came crashing down in a wave of intense hurt. As the reality set in, Jasmine found herself spiraling. She had spent years hoping for something more with Kirk, and now, here they were, Rasheeda and Kirk, together and stronger than ever, celebrating a new baby while she was left to deal with the aftermath of her own broken dreams. Jasmine broke down in private, away from the cameras and the public eye. How could she not? She had given so much of herself to Kirk, and in the end, it wasn't enough. The family she had once hoped to create with him was now being built elsewhere, and the pain was unbearable. She sat alone in her apartment, her hands trembling as she scrolled through the endless messages on her phone. Texts from friends who offered their sympathy, others from people who didn't know the full story but wanted to take sides. None of it mattered. None of it changed the fact that Kirk had moved on, and, more importantly, that Rashida was the one who had won. Her mind replayed the memories. The moments when Kirk had promised her that he was there for her, the moments when she had believed that he truly cared. But now, it all seemed like a distant fantasy, a chapter that had long since ended. Rashida had won. She had fought for Kirk's love and had succeeded in ways Jasmine never could. Jasmine's tears flowed freely. She had tried to be strong, tried to move on, but the hurt was too deep. It felt like every step forward she had taken over the years had been undone by the announcement that had just been made. "It wasn't supposed to be like this," she whispered through sobs. "I was supposed to have a family. I was supposed to have everything I dreamed of. And now she was left with nothing but her broken heart and the bitter taste of rejection." Kirk's attention had always been a pendulum, swinging from one woman to another, leaving her in the middle. And now she knew the truth. She was the afterthought, the mistake, the one who never got the happy ending. But even as she wept, Jasmine knew deep down that this wasn't the end of her story. It was just another painful chapter, and like all chapters, it would eventually close. She didn't know how long it would take to heal from this wound, but she understood one thing for certain: the love she had for Kirk was never going to be enough to make him choose her. Meanwhile, Rashida and Kirk were moving forward, their hearts filled with a renewed sense of hope. They had gone through hell and back, but they were doing what they always knew was possible: building a family, repairing the cracks in their relationship, and embracing their future. They had each other, and with the news of their baby on the way, they felt like they had everything they needed to make their family whole once again. The contrast between the two women, Rashida, at peace with the life she had built, and Jasmine, torn apart by the pieces of her own shattered dreams, was as stark as it was painful. For one, this was a time of celebration, while for the other, it was a reminder of everything lost. But time has a way of healing wounds, even the ones that seem impossible to fix. Rashida and Kirk's journey was just beginning, while Jasmine would have to find her own path forward, learning to live with the lessons of the past, and one day, letting go of the hurt that had defined so much of her life. For now, the world watched as Rashida and Kirk embraced their joy. But for Jasmine, the road ahead was one of quiet reflection as she navigated the pieces of a life that had